Hello everybody and welcome back to Tyranny. Let's proceed to see how the Judgement from Tunon goes, or however you wish to call it. This court is closed. Something is definitely going on here. So we're all gathered here pretty much, except Bleeding Mark. Well, from each faction at least.
Fatefinder, thank you for answering my summons. This could very well be the defining hour of the conquest.
Pleasure is mine, Your Honor.
Your manners do you well. All the same, we are here for justice, not pleasantries. I first want to make it clear why we've assembled today. After the collapse of Vendrian's Well and the start of the Civil War, it became clear to me that there must have been some great fault on the part of the Archons. We come together to root out the source of our troubles, and determine which of the Archons has sown more chaos during the war.
I can point to the culprit and spare us the discussion. Bloodmarch aims to the tip of a crude dagger at your heart. This is the scum who brought down the voices. I hope it isn't your intention to arm yourself before a court of peaceful legal representatives, Commander, unless to offer amusement as Bleeding Mark flays you for the light. Callior's an encouraging smile. He squints at Callie and slowly returns his weapon to its sheath. Tunon turns to aim what you can only assume is a stern look. He refocuses back onto you with a cool stoicism.
Much has happened since I dispatched you on that mission.
Very much so.
You killed the voices of Nerat, taking the responsibility of an Archon's execution. Explain yourself.
I didn't have a choice. The court has no time for your lies. Ah, that is, with your approval, mighty Tunon. Bloodmarch quietly backs down.
Don't trouble these halls with a child's reasoning. A Fatebinder is expected to conduct themselves better than this. The court has a serious problem to address. Your conduct throughout this campaign has come into question, and you will answer for your actions.
Very well, I will. You haven't quite a name for yourself, Fatebinder. Stories of your deeds have spread throughout the tiers, and all of them have reached this court. Some actions have consequences. We will see what your actions have wrought.
The court has its own charges to present, and invites you to answer for yourself.
I expected as much. Bring on your charges.
The trial begins now. I recommend that you treat these moments with deserving gravity, as they might be your last. Don't attempt to lie or evade answers. I will judge you in the objective eyes of our overlord. Is that understood?
Yes, Your Honor.
At least your civility remains intact. You are on trial for transgressing on the overlord's authority, breaking the laws of the Empire, bringing mayhem to an otherwise orderly conquest, and meddling in concerns that fell beyond your station. Our directive to bring Kairos' peace to the tiers has suffered, and you will answer for the part you played.
If you don't mind, Adjudicator, we are on familiar terms with the Fatebinder here. Should any inconsequences require our input, we will add to our voices as testimony. She nods as Rogulus and then turns to you with an unreadable expression.
The court has inquiries into your conduct. I first call your travel companions to speak on your behalf as witnesses to your character or accomplices to your crimes. Who will speak on behalf of the Fatebinder?
Barrick?
The ironclad commander will step forward, if indeed he has the strength to walk.
You want me to speak, Adjudicator?
Barrick's arm makes a distinct rattling sound that echoes in the court as he steps forward.
I've been treated with fairness and respect. As fine as anything the Legion ever gave me. The Fatebinder trusts my counsel. I've never seen a finer, more upstanding member of the court.
Will anyone else speak on the Fatebinder's behalf? Scarlet Fury, you who sacrificed your old life for this one, step forward.
Me? As if the likes of me has any business speaking in a grand hall before the Archon. Why, I've murdered enough folk to stack their bodies up to the podium 10 times over. Your Honor, the Fatebinder and I get along like a couple of cats. We scratch here and there, but there's respect to be had. Sometimes I think we agree on too much, but can't fight everyone. I suppose I've had worse bosses, and I suppose I've had better friends. But this one's something special. I've killed for him, and I'll do it again.
I'm kinda happy that we didn't have Kills in Shadow with us here, because she would probably talk a lot of shit.
Will anyone else speak on the Fatebinder's behalf? Let the aged chronicler step forward.
If it may please the court, I will speak true. I have had the honor and privilege of shadowing the Archon. A dream come true for someone so eager to witness history in the unfolding. I can say, with conviction, I am following greatness.
And if required, I could produce my travelogue to back my claims. I have noted the good with the bad, and I think you'll find the Archon has been a force of order and balance. Exactly what you should want from a Fatebinder.
Will anyone else speak on the Fatebinder's behalf?
Evidently not. The time has come for the Fatebinder to offer his testimony. You entered the old walls, a clear violation of Kairos' law. How do you answer this provision of justice? Do you think yourself above the law? The transgression was necessary to complete my task. No. Circumstances took me there. The law stood in the path of justice. I mean, he's the Archon of Justice, I believe, so that one should favor him. The law stood in the path of. Fatebinder Callio shakes her head in confusion. I hope you cheer yourself, because that statement alone shows extraordinary contempt for our work. She looks her tune on for approval. Tyranny weighs the matter while studying you in silence. Ever since you arrived in the Tears, you have proven stubborn like tight-tipped. Your speech is often still as if by some great terror or apprehension. Can you even answer for this anomaly, or are you too simple to manage it? In my dissipation of justice, I find it most useful to let others do the talking while I observe and allow them to incriminate themselves. That is a better justification than I had expected. Thank you for satisfying my curiosity.
I have one final question, Fatebinder. You were brought to this campaign to adjudicate the disagreements between the two armies. After your arrival, matters quickly escalated into a civil war. Did you knowingly join the conquest of the Tears to sow discord in your wake? Or were you merely a victim of circumstance?
I recognized Archon's corruption from the start, and it was only a matter of time before they turned on each other. I was prepared. I joined the conquest for glory of Kairos, but unless certain Archon did for the same reason. I recognized Archon's corruption from the start. It was only a matter of time before they turned on each other, and I was prepared for that eventuality.
If you anticipated a failure on this scale, you should have informed me, or else worked to avoid it rather than pit combatants against each other. I am finished with my line of questioning. Have you any closing remarks for the court?
Though I was trying to bring peace and order to this strategy, and recognize that our work is uphill battle. You have shown me that war and conflict can change the face of the Tears. I am the hammer that pounds ore into a workable shape. Kairos' peace is a lie. The Overlord holds dominion because we are ignorant alternatives. The better Overlord stands before you. The years have shown me that war and conflict can change the face of the Tears. I am the hammer that pounds ore into a workable shape.
I see the conquest has left its mark. Thank you for your testimony, Fatebinder. I believe I have enough to make a ruling. After weighing the charges, this court finds you innocent.
Oh my.
Against all reason or expectation, I find you innocent. Your testimony was sufficient to justify your deeds, your self-appointed authority, and your undermining of Kairos' law. I can hardly believe it myself.
He's just, at least. That's good. Tunon raises a trembling hand to his mask. Adjudicator, are you unwell? Rugos takes a cautious step. Leave him. I want to see how this plays out. Callio leans forward with interest.
Archon, your presentation in the court today has has shaken many of my core beliefs. Things I held sacred under Kairos' law are now uncertain.
He looks at his gavel with a sense of bewilderment.
I once thought that Kairos was the sole overlord. The notion of rising to her echelon of power and influence wasn't a concept that existed for me. For anyone. You have proven her wrong. What's more, you understand justice and law better than she ever did. Better than even.
Upon his mask, the corners of his eyes cringle as in agony.
I am willing to accept you as my new sovereign, if you'll have me.
I accept. Together we'll rewrite the law and lay groundwork for a new emperor. Serve me as you served Kairos. I ask nothing more.
My loyalty is beyond question. I will do anything for you.
Funny thing to say when you just turned coat on my old boss. What say we kill him just for fun of it? I want to see what's under that mask. No worse, Adjudicator is ours now.
My gavel and my justice are yours. I will execute your laws as you draft them, show mercy as you see fit, and bring to ruin all who would reject you.
But what about Bleeding Mark? Is he about to pop up now? Yeah, he is. Silently, Bleeding Mark seeps from the shadow. He glides forward, palming two black-haired as his eyes dart between you and Tunon.
Adjudicator, kid.
He greets the both of you with a court nod before stating his claim.
Allow this blade to cut to the point. I have an objection, or two.
He twirls both daggers, fingers moving deftly in and out of shadow, the movement nearly hypnotic and wholly blurred, and all the while his brightly burning eyes bore into yours. I'm not some kid, I'm an Archon now. You understand you were messing with, right? He smiles, wide and dangerously, teeth gleaming in the darkness.
Look, it's not like I have a grudge against you. I just can't let you live on Kairos' orders. I'm sure you understand.
Kairos' mandate doesn't require either of us to die. We'll need to bow to one another. Tunon is willing to swear to me. Why won't you?
I would not so readily hand my leash to another. Really? Did you think I would allow myself to be used by someone like you? That you could send me to strike at the Overlord? No. I would feel your blood pool beneath my feet first.
It would appear the court headsman is determined to make his stand. Under normal circumstances, I would curb this behavior with a swift execution. However, we have long since abandoned normalcy. There will be a trial by combat then. Bledenmark's claim against your own. Justice will win out, and the will of the true Overlord will be evident for the living to witness. You may begin when ready, Archon.
I guess I've got no choice then. Without further word of warning, the Archon of Shadow dissipates into darkness. The lights of the room flicker and dim as he surges forward in attack.
Your trial begins anew, Archon. Prepare to defend your title, your innocence, and your very life.
Mortal Kombat! Taunt him first thing.
Stand together! I got it. Get back here!
Don't run to me. Beric, do something!
I'll omit that from the record.
Come and face my ire!
Is he immune to... If he's immune to taunt, we might have an issue. Because he seems to be pretty much focusing on me.
I'll throw the advance.
That would be an issue.
I should try something else.
I'm pretty sure he
Bleed
is.
out, you little shit.
We are going to spend all of our strong skills, but if he kills us, I'm pretty sure we die. What the fuck? Okay. Oh, he's on Barrick now. Good.
Nice one, kid.
Stop calling me kid.
This is useless. I should try something else.
Oh, he summons ads as well. How lovely. Yes, you are.
I got it.
Right, verse. We're gonna have to deal with these.
Another scar? Fine. Let's do it, you and me.
Riz. This is doing it again. Barrick, go hit on him. Pretty sure he's more important. Verse. Wasn't there two up there? Did that one disappear? Right, Verse, stay on him then. We will stay on this one. Make sure it dies.
Good aim.
Landry, heal please.
Of course.
I'm gonna go ahead and pop potions because I'd rather use them than not. Really. Makes sense, doesn't it? I'd rather use them than not use them. That's more of those again.
You got it.
Hurts when I hit, doesn't it?
Yeah, it sorta does.
Damn thing couldn't pierce
What
claw.
are you doing, Barrick?
The advance.
I need you in the melee.
Hurts when I hit, doesn't it?
Yes, it does, as I said before.
That one
Let's see
rattled
what
me
falls
hard.
out of you.
Shadows fall out of these by the looks of it. Shield of Suffering, what is that?
Something else.
Oh, it's the heal. Good boy.
Another scar? Fine.
So far he's proving easier than the Void. I do say that, but he did just heal for 500 pretty much. For 500. I mean, he goes down again, but that's a big heal. Am I bleeding? Oh wow, more of them again. Lovely.
Damn thing couldn't pierce cloth.
Yeah, you keep saying that. Barrick on him. Verse. Pop a potion.
Did I always have this much blood?
No, I'm just healing you, that's why.
Will do.
She's dying. I don't like that at all.
Seeing an awful lot of red.
Is he healing again? No, he's making invisible stuff. Barrick, do what you do.
Don't know my own strength.
Got dark all of a sudden.
Lantry, get her up. I shouldn't have said that he was easier, should I? I'm sort of regretting it.
Nice one, kid.
Drink. He's down on red, but he's gonna heal, isn't he? No, not yet. Not just yet, at least.
I'll omit that from the record.
This is useless. I should try something else.
Is he done? He is.
This brightness is blinding.
Golden, glowering eyes wide with surprise, the Archon tumbles to the ground, coughing blood as dark as the shadows that billows the ebb around him. He clutches at his shattered ribs and grins.
Look at you. The surprise of a lifetime.
He gasps, drowning as his lungs fill with blood. The light in his eyes dims as his pupils see blackness, expanding to fill the whole of his eyes. A look of meaning passes between you, his finger digging into the ground.
Don't die too easily. Won't look good for me.
Two Archons killed, two recruited.
Master, if you'll join me upstairs, I will pledge fealty to you in a lawful manner.
Very well. Is it now that the sexy music starts? I hope not. You have defeated Bleeding Mark. Our power 1700.
On it.
Oh yeah, almost forgot to loot him. What kind of gloves did he have, I wonder? Shade skill. 10% less all damage taken. Shifts into shadow version of yourself. While in this form, deal bonus arcane damage with each attack and gain bonus damage reduction. Should I... Now's the question. Should I use them or should I give them to... I'm gonna use them. I'm more important. Ash's Favor. Huh. Wonder when we got that. Probably... No, that's the wrong way. Up here's where we go. I'm also gonna quick save because you never know. That should be my throne.
Archon, change has come to the Tears, and in time it will reach the Empire itself. You are the agent of that change, and even I could not have predicted what impossible heights you would reach. The time has come to take up the gavel and usher in a new age of structure and law to the Tears. You will henceforth define justice for the rest of us. I will follow your lead and endeavor to follow your design.
Your loyalty and confidence are appreciated.
As the ruling Archon of the Tears, I submit to your authority and thank you for bringing order out of chaos.
He can't even kneel, can... Oh? He can kneel. I thought he didn't have any legs, but just shadows.
And represent the strength of law. Be the example the Tears require, the force that keeps them together, and the hope for their future under one rule. Let your justice know no mercy but that which you impose. Civilization itself will bend according to your design. Never forget this.
Final Judgment.
I am grateful to stand in your loyal service, Archon, but there is a shadow over these proceedings.
Tyranny hesitates as he regards you, suddenly fearful.
Though you have proven yourself greater than the other Archons, Kairos is not satisfied. She sends a legion of expert soldiers marching on the Tears as we speak, their war songs calling for your death.
What would you recommend?
Power begets power. A demonstration aimed at Kairos herself would give her a reason to regroup and consider her options. It would have to be a display of incredible proportions.
An edict proclaimed on the Northern Empire should do the trick.
Yes, destruction on that scale might serve your purpose. The North will tremble under your forceful hand. Return to the mountain spire and see your will given shape and consequence. Show Kairos the face of true power.
On it.
I wonder how close we are to the end of the game, if we're gonna have to go and kill Kairos or something as well. The armies of the north. Travel to our mountain spire. I will proceed to do just that then, and proclaim a new edict upon the invaders on my land. I never got the two other... Wonder where those rubbings were. Should we get those maybe? Or try to find them somewhere? I have no idea where to find them. My quick save. And then let's see what we can do for the invaders. The waves of energy radiating from the spire drive forward, pressing your body and mind to its eager embrace. At the center of this tide, the resonator stands are ready to broadcast your voice, echoing your commandments to the fathers to reach to the Tears and beyond. From here, the highest point of all Peninsula, you could, with the sum total of your efforts, project your will far north, past the edge of the Tears, and proclaim your edicts as far over the lands of the North Empire. Touch the resonator and concentrate. You know that there is only one equivalent response to Overlord's aggression. You need to cast an edict on the Northern Empire. Kairos' seat of power. Nothing less will do as a gesture of your authority. The spire awaits your command. Northern Empire. I'm guessing the other spires could give different edicts. The edict of stone will generate a massive storm and cover huge areas. I mean, I kind of want to do that since we did stone last time, but we might create more barracks this way. Fuck it, let's do an edict of stone. In case we have to fight, it gives good effects to us. Another edict of stone upon the northern invaders who dare to touch my land. Your edict of stone shakes the ground under the northern capital, a quake that builds in such ferocity that massive sinkholes open under the boasting city, swallowing whole districts. As citizens flee in terror, mages attempt to help, but their arcane power dampened to the point of uselessness, even as they cleave to failing structure or run from widening fissures. All wonder why Kairos offer no deliverance. As chaos ensued in the northern kingdom, the armies marching on the tiers received an unprecedented order. The armies were to fall back to the capital and ensure the safety of its people from the edict. For the first time in Kairos' great conquest, the armies retreated. Soon questions would be asked if a hushed breath across the land about what new terrible powers emerged could force the hand of the Overlord. You fulfilled Kairos' decree, and all the tiers is now ruled by a single Archon. Your former rivals have either submitted to you or perished, bringing new civil war to close. The Scarlet Chorus may have been mighty in numbers, but that didn't stop you from throughout scattering them, cutting off the serpent's head and sending each of their gangs howling back to the chaos they sowed. How the remnants of the Horde occupied themselves without a war to fight becomes a topic for nightmares. It was thought the six favored would never rally under another general, but by enlisting Gravenash to your cause, you managed the next best thing, controlling the Archon to harness the strength of the Northern Empire. You recognized their old-fashioned regiments with a new chain of command, placing yourself at its highest authority. The Legion's victories spread beyond count, and your soldiers trained hard, preparing for the retaliation to come. Under your guidance, those who resisted the conquest and so discontent are vanquished. The rebellion brought to the decisive end. Any lingering question of who is the true ruler of the tiers is answered by your impact on the reconstructed nation. World of your success spreads beyond the tiers as well. Even the most distant corners of the Empire whisper of the Faithbinder who rose to become an Archon, and an Archon whose intervention shattered the conquest, making way for a new future in the devastated nation. Uniting the tiers under the banner of the disfavored was never your directive, and yet you performed it admirably. Consolidating the Overlord's forces under your rule and grooming the tiers for their place in new order. The same people who once hurled on the curses across a siege soon learned to think of themselves as part of a greater whole, extending beyond their modest border. With the Edict of Stone dispelled, the earth around the Stone Sea finally settles, leading everyone to believe the realm of Azure will return to its former glory. But the ritual used to end the edict blighted the land to such degree that nothing will grow, no matter how hard anyone tries. With determination, some are able to start small seedling, but nothing ever comes of it. The memory of Cairns, a great force of destruction, remains as a monument of inert rock. Most agree that the world is better off without the Archon of Stone, as the people of Azure begins to slowly reclaim the land that was once torn asunder by his power. As the strongest and oldest of her kind, the death of the Stonestalker is a blow to the Beastman culture. Their demise also brings the centuries of oral tradition to an abrupt end. The localist tribes never recovered from the terrible loss. With Cairns Essen preserved and the land of Azure permanently blighted, the Earthshakers return to the disfavored. While their reputation isn't what it used to be, their success in dealing such a decisive blow to the Scarlet Chorus by removing their main source of food has earned back the respect of the Legion. The Earthshakers are accepted back into the ranks of the disfavored, once again becoming part of the army that helps subdue the tiers. With the Unbroken all but destroyed, the former citizen of Stalwart threatens to slide into lawlessness. Kairos' forces stationed in Setnostan managed to quell the worst of the uprising, but peace under the nation's new leadership is resisted at every turn. You put the last of Graven Ash's family to the sword, ensuring the end of his long and decorated lineage. Though you often wonder if it could have been done to prevent awful deed, you don't bother yourself wondering for long. Though it takes time to recover from the devastation of the Edict of Storms, the Blade Grave begins its slow march toward healing. The realm of Starmont may never resemble its former glory, but the land is not so blasted as something new and better can't be built atop the bones of the past. The Regent bloodline has ended, with it new traditions and legacies spring to life. Your travels never took you to the Burning Library, and this leaves the Edict of Fire undisturbed, consignating the Vellum Citadel to a future engulfed by perpetual flame. With their arcane knowledge beyond reach, the School of Ink and Quill falls into deep decline. Your name becomes a curse in their embedded ranks. By leaving Leafen's Crossing under disfavored command, you ensure the city's cooperation and production during the remainder of the conquest. The crafting of superior weapons comes to be the touchstone of which Leafen's Crossing is remembered. After the war, people speak of it as the Forge Days, when the city was a lump of unformed metal waiting to be shaped. By returning the Magebell Helm to Leafen's Crossing, you ensure the Bane would not be able to get into the city. For the time being, the threat of a Bane incursion is dispelled. The settlers are grateful to go about their lives unburdened by this peril, though knowing how close they came to annihilation haunts them. They hope of the security your private endures. With the disfavored left in control of Leafen's Crossing, the production of iron remains where it belongs, safe in Northern hands. The Chorus and the Tearsmen alike fight with inferior bronze, and over time the disadvantage grows to a crippling vulnerability. By enacting an edict on Vendrian's Well, you announced your power to the wall and showed Kyrus' forces what you were capable of. When you defeated their leader and scattered the army before you, it sent a message to Kyrus. A new Archon is born. With the edict dissipated, its effect will always be felt as the first true threat of Kyrus' rule. Graven Ash continues to lead the disfavored, this time bowing to your superior command. At first, the old general balks to your instructions, but in time he grows in trust your judgment without question. Working together, you bring much needed order to the lawless tiers. Killing the voices of Nerat spreads the joy of blood vengeance across the continent. Celebrated as the death of history's greatest parasite, the occasion is marked by all who suffer under oppression of the Scarlet Chorus. Even in victory, one thought nags you. Though you witness his death, you can't help but wonder if the voices of Nerat is done with you. Tunon the Adjudicator continues to disperse justice from his seat in the Bastard City. He follows the laws you craft to the letter, advising on any of the metricious changes you lack the time or the patience to draft. Without his aid, the task of keeping order in the tiers would be nigh impossible. The death of Bleeding Mark deprives the world of a most capable murderer. One less bedtime story to scare children in no significant loss, though you can't help but glance at the dark corner every time you feel something is watching you. Bleeding Mark will always cast a long shadow on your life. Not content to enjoy the fruits of victory, Barrick positions himself along the ranks and file your supporters, organizing troops around their strengths and making sure each pulls their weight. His armor clings to him as stodgily as ever, though he wears it with a straighter back and lighter step than he did before. A team of loyal camp followers polish his plates as to a respectable sheen each morning, and the smell that escapes his visor has notably improved. Medals of valor decorate his breastplate, and adoring supporters drape garlands of flower about his person. Life is good for a towering soldier. Verse finds herself adrift to the relative peace that follows your conquest. She returns to the field and seeks out young women from rural communities, imparting her fighting skills not only most passionate. Over the course of many apprentices, she follows the voices of Nerat's example and forms a personal army, the Callous Sisterhood. Verse proves to be a strict leader, and you hire her service often, conflicting that she's taken any assignment where there's blood to be spilled. Lanty creeps a close watch over you, scribbling his account to your deeds and accomplishments. In his tireless quest to fill the chronicles of history and knowledge, he follows you even into his twilight years, and together you learn much about the world. You pretend not to notice Lanty's waning strength, though you find yourself pausing mid-sentence to let his writing catch up. He recognizes your generous ruse and appreciates it in silence. Exhausted from fighting, Ebb shifts her focus to the broken school of Tidecasters. She recruited as many talented students as possible, but apprentices are difficult to find in the tense post-war tiers. The few who are drawn to her teaching show promise, and Ebb are little doubt that the Tidecasters can return to their former strength in less than a decade or two. The going will be hard for some time, though. You deemed kills in shadow not only unworthy to join you, but unworthy of life. With your actions, the Shadowhunter line was brought to an abrupt and brutal end. Siren, we never met her. Siren, the Archon of Song, never lent her voice to your cause. After spending time in Leafen's Crossing gathering followers, she disappeared from the tiers before your personal conquest was done. Stories reach your ears occasionally, telling of a young woman with a hypnotic voice, and you wonder what marvels you could have accomplished with her in your charge. Though you once professed your loyalty to Kairos, popular belief holds that the world cannot support two overlords, and you now represent a threat of the established order. This leaves your future in question, with but one certainty: when Kairos retaliates, you will be ready. From your perch atop the ancient spire, you can see hints of the Northern Empire just beyond the mountains. At your command, horns shout a triumphant cry across the valley, heralding the end of one long campaign and the beginning of another. The end. I wonder if there's anything interesting at the end. So yeah, that's Tyranny. It was pretty damn interesting. I'm sorry if my lack of English failed it sometimes or not, but I truly enjoyed this game, and I hope you enjoyed me playing it. And I'm actually considering to make another playthrough on this with different choices, following the chorus and the barbaric assholes that they have, or just doing something completely different. Another thought I had is to return to RimWorld with the modded playthrough that I mentioned earlier. However, for now, Tyranny is completed. We have become a new overlord of the tiers, and maybe we'll become a sequel, hopefully, where we can bring chaos onto Kairos herself. But that will have to go for another time. And if that happens, I will see you guys then. Bye bye.